This is why we're putting the window in the bathroom. It's completely dark. We're gonna lighten that up a lot here in a minute. All next on HomePro Hero. So this is a pretty intimidating process, to be honest with you. I've never put a window into an existing house before, believe it or not. How hard can it be? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and mark out the layout of the window. My wall is about 176 inches, so I need to be about 88 inches in the center, and then I need to go 30 inches on each side. The instruction says give a ½ inch for movement both top and bottom. That's accomplished. Plus, I'm taking out an additional 1½ inch for one jack 2x4. I'm gonna try and tuck the king 2x4s in the wall. I think I'm ready to cut this thing open. So cutting open on a wall is not the best thing in the world, even though it's a newer house. Luckily, I had photos of that wall before they drywalled it, so I know exactly what's in it. Okay, not too bad. Everything was smooth, a little sloppy, doesn't matter. Trim board's gonna cover all that. Well, let's crack this thing open and see what's behind it. Couldn't have been any better than that, look at that. So obviously the insulation job looks incredible. The drywall came off perfectly. Both contractors I used for the house are local guys that I personally know, so they took care of me. So if I pull back the R13, look behind it. Is that a beautiful sight or what? I'm definitely gonna take it all the way to the roof here. I'll stay about 2 inches from the roof. That way I don't get into that corner, which could be hard to repair, especially with the ceiling. Well, it's gonna be painful, but I need to get the insulation off the wall, at least some of the foam, so I can put the king studs and the jack studs in. Called my insulation contractor last night, see if there's any trick or anything. He goes, pretty much elbow grease. Okay, it wasn't too bad. Actually, it only took me about 15 minutes, maybe if that. But you can see I chewed out enough for the jack stud, or the king stud, and then the jack stud, all the way up to the header, which will come across here and back down the other side. Let's clean up this mess real quick. And I think we're ready to start cutting some studs and getting the opening framed up. Okay, let's start framing. Real quick, I need 2 king studs. King studs are studs that go from the bottom to the top. They'll hold my jack studs. Let's go cut the king studs now, and we'll put them in place. I wanna make sure this side's plumb, and then I'll worry about the measurements on that side. Here we go. I'm dealing with 9-foot ceilings here. So it's a little taller than most. Not too bad right there. Okay, now the measurements come into play. We'll cut the insulation, plug the insulation in, then we'll put the king stud in. It's pretty much gonna be the exact same process of install. The only difference is we wanna make sure, one, it's plumb, which we know it will be because we'll be measuring off the other 2x4, the opposite king stud. But we make sure we have our 63 inches in between, because keep in mind our jack studs are actually going in between the king studs. So that's -3 inches. We have to have 60 inches for that window to fit. Okay, the kings are in. It's probably the hardest part of this whole thing. The header might be difficult too, but the next step is jack studs. Real simple. We're just gonna measure up 2 foot plus 5 foot for the window. That gives our total height of about 7 foot. The header will sit on top of the jack studs. Okay, got the screws in there, just temporarily holding the boards up, the jack studs, 60 right on the nose. Probably gonna build the header, mark it out, and cut those cripples. Cut those studs at the top. But anyway, we're gonna install the header next, so let's go ahead and knock that out. So when we install the header, we basically want to put the header up. We want those 4 studs to actually sit on top of that header pretty tight. It's gonna take the load and move it to the jacks and the king to take it to the foundation. Okay, here we go. We're gonna put the header up. Got the boy in here to help me. Hopefully this thing goes in all right. We'll find out here in a second. Your side in? Yeah. Okay, hang on. Okay, watch your fingers. Hang on, buddy. Thank you. Yeah. Woo. Yes, sir. It fits. It's snug. Okay, that sucked. It's done. You can see right there, I cut the tops off. May have a little bit of a slant that way due to my saw. Not a problem, we'll fix that on the outside. But long story short, I'll put some liquid nails, make sure it's nice and level, and let it sit overnight. Let's see what the level looks like. Hey, that's almost perfect right there. We want to make sure we support this corner right here because the window's gonna have a lot of weight right there. So make sure we put a stud here and then also a stud over here. Tomorrow I'm gonna nail the heck out of this thing with 12 gauge nails with shear strength. So screws are just kind of temporary. It's open the house up and put the window in day. That wasn't hard at all. Okay, well, when you start cutting, it's nice and easy. But that blade goes dull fast. I'm not sure if I'm hitting nails or what, but I've killed 2 blades. So that's a problem because those blades are like 20 bucks a crack and I've gone through 2 already, so that's 40 bucks down. Long story short, I got the sides cut. I think I'm good at the cross the top. I haven't even cut that yet. But keep in mind, I'm about to cut again to get my finish for my trim. So could get expensive, probably another 60 bucks or so. We'll find out. I'll get online and see if there's anything trick to this or not. Got my buddy on the way over now to help me put this window in. A guy I can trust, because you don't want a guy you can't trust doing this. Siding's off. Now we have to go ahead and mark for the holes for take the wood out. That's when I open up the house. So I'll do the same process. I'll put the pins in the holes. I'll be right on the pins this time, and then we'll cut it out with a circular saw and hope we're in the zip code. We should be. Real quick, so you saw me put the adhesive on here. No adhesive on the bottom. That way if water gets trapped here, it has a way to get out and underneath and out. I got my flashing down there too, so it's not gonna get behind. Here, required shims, we just taped over the top, keep them in place. They're actually sitting on 2x4s. Okay, here we go. Wish us luck. $1,200 window. All in Joe's hands for the most part, not mine at all. So if this window breaks and shatters, he's paying. Okay, I'm gonna give this some time to set up the adhesive. It's just sprinkling right now, so this is the south side, so it won't get a lot of rain, especially at the top where the overhang is. So we're good there. Okay, insulation, some nasty stuff. Always wear a mask. If you're gonna catch me wearing a mask nowadays, it's gonna be when I do insulation. So I'm gonna spray this in between the window and the framing to give me a nice air-tight seal. Okay, not like before. I need to be almost perfect on these cuts. Caulk will hide a lot of it, so I'm not too concerned about it, but I did switch blades. I'll let you know what it's like afterwards, but hopefully this blade will do better. I shot through both those other expensive blades yesterday. Never did get the top cut So let's go ahead and cut this out. I feel good about it. I'm gonna make sure I cut the line out because I need that room. Hey, I don't have a mask on, I know that, because when I put a mask on, it makes my glasses fog up. So I have to choose between my mask or my goggles. It's halftime. So I can tell you one thing, the cheap blades, the 5-pack for 16 bucks, right now is killing the $22 blades that I used yesterday that I burned up on like 3/4 of this thing. So I almost stole my first blade, got 4 left, and I'm halfway through the window. Great tool, you gotta get you one of these. I tell you, this thing comes in almost priceless sometimes. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Let's do final tape. Let's get these trim boards up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my pocket screws. I'm gonna pre-assemble this thing. I think it's gonna go in the wall better. I'll show you why in a little bit. But anyways, pocket screws, here it comes. Z flashing at the top is a must. It keeps the water from seeping in behind the window. Like always, I tried it off camera, fits like a glove. What'd you expect? Not too bad. Just gotta caulk that little area right between the siding and the trim board, and then we'll also caulk this right here between the window and the trim board. That should make it pretty watertight. Once it freezes, dries, it should blend in real nice. What do you think? Not done yet. I got a lot more to do in this bathroom. I'll see you next time.